Today on Public Eye News, the state of Michigan reaches 70% vaccination. However, COVID-19 hospitalizations are on the rise.
Later, Brady Hinchell will have your weather update, and Justin Van Hoff will be back with your sports update. Hi, I'm Ross Ray.
And I'm Justin Van Hoff, and this is Public Eye News. The number of COVID-19 patients at a major hospital network in western Michigan is up 40% since November 1st, as a fall surge pounds the state, officials said Tuesday. Spectrum Health reported 367 COVID-19 patients at its hospitals, a dramatic increase in recent weeks, says Dr. Daryl L. Mucci, president of the Spectrum Health West Michigan. A common thread amongst many, no vaccination. The 7-day test positivity rate was 22.6%, the highest since the pandemic began in 2020, El Mucci said. The state health department on Monday said it was the first time in more than 6 months that Michigan hospitalizations had crossed 3,000. The state reported a 70% first dose vaccination rate among people 16 and older. About 63% of those 12 and up are fully vaccinated. And the second fatal plane crash in 3 days in northern Michigan killed the pilot and his passengers, authorities said Monday. Pilot Kenneth Daniel Yacht, 61 of Pontiac, and 20-year-old passenger Corbin Dennis Kennedy of Howell were found dead Monday afternoon in the Beechcraft King airplane in a wooded area in Charlevoix County's Melrose Township, police said. It wasn't clear what caused the crash, and the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board are investigating. 4 people died in addition in a plane crash Saturday on Michigan's Beaver Island west of Mackinac City. The twin-engine Britten-Norman plane was flying from Charlevoix, the FAA said in a statement. And jazz music and sound of laughter poured out of the doors of the Marquette Commons on Sunday as people went inside to escape the icy winds with a cup of free hot chocolate and check out the small businesses. Sunday Crawl, the crawl was organized by students in the Student Leader Fellowship Program at NMU as part of their service learning project for the community. They were tasked with identifying a problem within their community, creating a proposal to help with the issue, and carrying out the project before the end of the semester. Some of the participating businesses along the route were Revisions, Revival, Chickadees, Gathered Earth, and Downwind Sports. Velodrome Coffee also donated 5 gallons of coffee and 5 gallons of hot water to make hot chocolate for the event. Jaylene Supply Co. was another business that set up in the Marquette Commons, selling their wares and talking to participants. Overall, their event attracted around 50 people who visited and supported the small businesses around Marquette.
A bipartisan proposal in Wisconsin could be looking to lighten penalties for marijuana possession in many parts of the state. Current Wisconsin state law makes first-time marijuana possession a misdemeanor with a penalty up to $1,000 fine and 6 months in jail. This new plan could reduce the state penalty for possessing up to 14 grams of marijuana to a $100 civil forfeit, which is similar to a speeding ticket. The bill would eliminate the increasing scale of penalties for repeat possession offenses as long as the repeat offenses involve less than 28 grams of marijuana. The bill is still in discussion. And the COVID-19 pandemic has created a surge in demand for aluminum beverage cans, as companies such as breweries have shifted to packaging products that can easily consumed at home. This sudden demand has been caused by breweries and soda companies selling less from fountain machines and kegs during the height of the pandemic, as they have shifted more production to packaged products. Major water bottle companies have also caused the surge, as they have started shifting away from plastic bottles for more sustainable options. While it may take years for new plants to begin operation, companies have started investing in new technology to repurpose misprinted cans in order to form new ones. And don't touch that dial, because after this break, we'll be back with your national and international news. Stay tuned.
Thanksgiving Day is upon us. I haven't finished eating my Halloween candy. The guests will be here pretty soon.
Hi, Chuck.
Please get ready to help serve them.
This is going to be the biggest bash of the year.
Back. The jury began deliberating Tuesday at the murder trial of Kyle Rittenhouse after listening to dueling portrayals of him as a wannabe soldier who went looking for trouble, or a concerned citizen who came under attack while trying to protect property. The case went to the anonymous 12-member jury after Rittenhouse himself, in an unusual move, was allowed by Judge Bruce Schrodinger to draw the numbered slips from a paper from a raffle drum that determined which of the 18 people who sat in the judgment during the trial would decide his fate and which ones would be dismissed as alternates. The task is usually done by a courtroom clerk, not the defendant. Rittenhouse, 18, faces life in prison if convicted, as charged for using an AR-style semi-automatic rifle to kill 2 men and wound a third during a night of protests against racial injustice in Kenosha during the summer of 2020. In his instructions to the jury, Schroeder said that to accept Rittenhouse's claim of self-defense, the jurors must find that he believed that there was an unlawful threat to him and that the amount of force he used was reasonable and necessary. And a COVID-19 outbreak inside a Connecticut nursing home has led to the deaths of 8 residents. A total of 89 residents and employees tested positive for the virus, and all but 2 were vaccinated. Elise Preston reports.
COVID-19 swept through Gear Village Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in North Canaan, Connecticut, taking the lives of 8 residents over the last 6 weeks. Nursing home officials say 89 residents and employees tested positive for the virus, and all but 2 were vaccinated.
We were really proud of the fact that our employees stepped up. They took the vaccine, accepted it. All of our residents did early on. We thought we were ahead of this.
Nursing home officials say the residents who died had serious underlying health issues. They suspect an asymptomatic employee brought in the virus despite regular COVID testing. But they believe the biggest factor was waning vaccination effectiveness for residents who got their shots months ago.
I think it speaks to the importance of getting the vaccine, and then when you're eligible, getting the booster.
Administrator Kevin O'Connell says it's a cautionary tale. The facility was in the process of scheduling booster shots when the infection started.
Booster shots are now available to any eligible adult here in New York City. That's also the case in California, Colorado, and New Mexico, actions that defy current CDC guidance. But those local and state officials say their citizens are at high risk.
At the same time, other states are trying to find ways to get around federal vaccine rules. Idaho's legislature reconvened weeks before its regularly scheduled session, and lawmakers introduced about 36 bills dealing with COVID-19 vaccine and mask mandates. In Texas, the Attorney General has filed a motion for a temporary restraining order against federal vaccine requirements. And South Carolina's Attorney General filed a suit to stop vaccine requirements for healthcare workers. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Earlier today, Polish forces at the border with Belarus used a water cannon against migrants throwing stones at border police, as Warsaw has accused Belarusian authorities of giving weapons to those migrants. This event, among others, has marked an escalation in the tense crisis at the European Union's eastern border. Polish and Belarusian authorities have blamed one another for the increasing tensions on the border, where thousands of migrants are still trying to reach the EU. Today, Mexico authorities announced soldiers had captured the wife of the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Rosalina Gonzalez Vacia, wife of cartel leader Amenzo El Mancho Ortega Cervantes, was arrested today in Zapopan, Jalisco, as she was allegedly involved in the illicit finance of the organized crime in the state. The government said the arrest was a significant hit against the cartel's financial structure. And President Biden goes to New England this morning to show how a more than $1 trillion infrastructure package will help one small town. The president signed that bill into law yesterday with a big White House ceremony. Hours later, the president had a long-awaited virtual meeting with China's President Xi Jinping. Their video conference addressed some of the growing economic issues and military tensions between the two countries. Ed Okofsky has more from the White House.
A late night at the White House and an early morning in Beijing.
All countries have to play by the same rules of the road, why the United States is always going to stand up for our interests and values.
Xi said he's also seeking cooperation.
We should each run our domestic affairs well and work together to advance the noble cause of world peace and development.
A senior administration official said the two leaders discussed human rights, climate change, COVID-19 and the importance of transparency amid a pandemic, economic commitments, and China's military activity around Taiwan. The White House official wouldn't say if China's hypersonic missile test in July was discussed. Recent satellite images show mock American warships in a Chinese desert built possibly for target practice. Gary Locke, who served as ambassador to China during the Obama administration, said China's growing military power is cause for concern.
What they're doing with respect to Taiwan what they're doing to build up military bases in the South China Sea. So we need to have frank discussions.
One discussion left off the table, a formal invitation to the Beijing Olympics.
Today, we're finally getting this done.
And on Monday, President Biden said the U.S. will be even more competitive against China thanks to passage of the bipartisan infrastructure bill.
Because of this law, next year will be the first year in 20 years American infrastructure investment will grow faster than China's.
Today, the president is set to continue his celebration of that infrastructure bill by visiting rural New Hampshire to talk about how the legislation's going to help rebuild thousands of bridges across the country. He heads to Michigan on Wednesday to talk about how it helps pay for electric vehicles. Ed O'Keefe, CBS News, the White House.
And don't go too far because after this break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
This month in Passport on the PBS video app, your on-demand library for the best of PBS.
Could we talk about the fact that we killed a man? Why would we want to do that?
I don't want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to the science.
Muhammad Ali was the most important man in the world.
The price of freedom comes high. I have paid, but I am free.
These and other shows from your PBS station are available with Passport on the PBS video app. Download it today.
And welcome back. I'm your weatherman, Brady Hinshaw, and behind me on this NMU campus is looking like that snow's starting to stick. But if we look at our current conditions, we have cloudy skies with a temperature of 34 degrees, winds out of the southeast at 12 miles an hour, and a barometric pressure of 30 inches and falling. Looking towards tonight, we have showers with a low of 38, winds out of the southeast at 18 miles an hour. Looking towards tomorrow, we have partly cloudy skies with a high of 46, winds out of the west, southwest at 12 miles an hour. Now, if we look at our beautifully UP, it's clouds across the board with 35 in Sault Ste. Marie, 40 in Manistee, 42 in Escanaba, 43 down in Menominee. Now, if we take a look at our western half, we have 38 in Iron Mountain, 36 in Ironwood, 40 up in Houghton, and back in beautiful Marquette, it is 34. Looking ahead, we have Thursday a high of 35 and a low of 28 and mostly cloudy skies. Friday a high of 38 and a low of 30 and mostly cloudy skies. And Saturday a high of 42 and a low of 31 and mostly cloudy skies. And now on to Justin Van Hoff with those sports.
We all like a success story in sports, especially when it's close to home. NMU's women rugby team is going to nationals in Knoxville, Tennessee. The little-known team from here in the UP came out of the playoffs in Oshkosh, Wisconsin with momentum-building wins 28-10 and 43-0, earning the club's first ever national championship seeds. The North Star will be proudly representing Northern Michigan University in Knoxville, Tennessee, December 4th and 5th in the National College Rugby's Women's Small College National Championships. They earned the bid by demolishing Minnesota Moorhead 74-19. The team viewed themselves as underdogs, and they triumphed through the rain and snow to hoist the trophy and claim victory. We here at Public Eye News are proud of the team and wish them the best of luck as Northern sports fans finally have a winning team to cheer for. And some more sporty news, Formula One is getting its first Chinese driver. Guanyu Zhou will be joining Alfa Romeo next season, remaining Antonio Giovinazzi is out of his seat for 2022 and leaving F1 without an Italian driver. Alfa will have an entirely new driver lineup for next season, with the retirement of Kimi Räikkönen, replacing him with Valtteri Bottas from Mercedes, who lost the seat to George Russell. Zhou is currently second in Formula's second championship and is a member of the Alpine F1 Drivers Academy. It's reported that Zhou comes with around $30 million in Alfa sponsorship to Alfa Romeo. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Justin Van Hoff.
And I'm Russ Ray. Make sure you stick around for DW German news coming right after this, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more news action.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.